What I'm going to talk to you about today is not only risk, but also how risk can be looked upon as a significant opportunity and not just something for organizations and businesses to shy away from. Every single business, regardless of how big or how small, will be impacted by the decarbonisation megatrend. And so what companies are really trying to do right now is find a way to be able to balance their carbon accounts in such a way that they actually become carbon neutral. And that's effectively what net zero is really all about, is getting to a point where the amount of carbon that's produced by whatever activity you have as your main production measure is negated by the amount of carbon that is taken out of the environment. Queensland set a fairly ambitious target just recently around their renewable energy. Net zero, again, had been there for a little while. 2050 is always really the date people are looking towards net zero. But the targets of 70 and 80% in 2032 and 2035 of renewable energy across the state are pretty significant from a base of about 25% right now. I think what we're going to see is we're probably going to see again a bit of an infrastructure and potentially a knowledge gap in how we actually get these out into market and start utilizing that renewable energy quickly. So it's going to take time, but we're in a position now where at least we have a plan. There's at least a plan to move forward. So you've probably heard of state development areas. Big one up near Gladstone, out in Aldoga, which is kind of north of the port and up towards the Rio Tinto facility there. Areas like that and a little bit more broadly around that SDA are becoming these renewable energy zones. Banana's got one, we've got one down here. There's a number of these across the state and across the country. And the idea behind them is they're really a decentralized production area for producing everything from wind to large batteries to just big solar arrays that then can feed into the grid and provide us with renewable energy across the state. Intensity of capital spending is going to increase significantly over the next few years. It doesn't really matter where you sit within the value chain. There's going to be investment that is needed to be made across your business to be able to get to a point where, like I said, if you are a part of a production or a value chain for a larger player and you supply to them, and when they come and say to you, what does your carbon accounts look like, you're going to have to be able to obviously tell them, and you're going to have to make sure that it's something that is something that's credible and has technology or process behind it to allow for their carbon objectives to be met. So we're at a point where there are so many claims on net zero and decarbonisation and 100% renewable energy that we actually don't have enough project flow to be able to deal with the volume required. Part of the other end of Scope 3 emissions is the deconstruction, recycling, reuse, reproduction of materials and things like solar panels and wind farms in a lot of years from now. But solar panels certainly are getting towards their kind of 20-year lifespan across many parts of Australia. And there are companies spinning up right now around collecting used and decommissioned solar panels, recycling them and putting the products from the solar panels back into circulation. So that concept of circular economy is going to be one that's going to drive a lot of company strategic decisions as well